Hey there, I'm Adrienne. I'm a private practice owner. I'm a speech language pathologist. And lately, I am an insurance and billing coach to all private practice owners. And I absolutely love it. And today, I'm going to talk about something that trips me up, used to trip me up, and sometimes still trips me up to this day. And that's modifiers. Okay. So if you've ever been confused about modifiers, or if you've ever sent out a super bill or you sent out a claim and then it came back with needs a modifier and you're like, what the heck are modifiers? You're in the right place. So let's break this down so you can get paid and you can bill effectively. All right. So, what are modifiers? I want you to think of modifiers as extra information, right? They are information that gives the insurance company a little bit more detail about who, what, where, and why behind the service, right? And importantly, it's very important about those billable situations because without the right modifiers, you could be denied or not reimbursed at all. Now, let's go over a couple of modifiers that you might see in billing situations. I want to start by saying there are a few. I'm only going to talk about just a couple, but you can Google, you can literally ask the insurance company, and you can consult with your colleagues. But here are a few situations that you may run into, and you may find that modifiers help. Number one is 59. That is a distinct procedural service. So this is a common modifier that you're going to use, and it's going to be added if you provide two distinct services. For example, you use 92507, which is speech, 92526, which is oral motor or feeding, then you may want to use that 59 modifier that helps the insurance company understand that these two unrelated like services or codes should be reimbursed in the same visit. All right. Okay. The next thing is modifier 25, and that is saying, and you would use that when you have completed an evaluation and a treatment in the same day. I am finding personally in my state, which is the state of Florida, doing and completing an eval and a treatment in the same day is almost prohibited across the board, across a lot of our insurance companies here in this state. You may find it different in other states. So that's another thing to remember, that insurance is also state specific. And so what I do down here in Florida, Neverland, it could be something in New York or in California. You may do something totally different. So be sure that you check in with the plan specifically when you are like get onto a plan, when you are credentialed with a plan. Most often you are assigned a provider, a specialist, a provider rep. Get to know that rep and ask them questions. I would love to do another video about negotiating with insurance companies, but my number one tip will always be get to know those reps. The first time that you meet them or talk to them doesn't necessarily need to be when you want to negotiate. If you kind of have a relationship with them, or hey, I have a question, can you answer me this, it really helps when it's time for those renegotiations, or when you're trying to get questions answered like this and it's feeling a little bit like your back is against the wall. You want to do that and with someone you have a relationship with. All right. And then the third modifier we'll talk about today is GPGOGN, and that is for therapy plan of care. So these modifiers are used to indicate what service falls under physical, occupational, or speech. So GN is speech therapy, GP is physical therapy, and GO is occupational therapy. GP and GO should be like very easy to remember because the P for physical therapy and the O for occupational therapy. And they're required by a lot of payers for these for that proper claim routing. All right, so let's talk about a couple of scenarios that you might use these in. All right, so let's do multiple services in one session. So if you're billing for speech therapy and swallowing therapy on the same day, you would use the modifier 59 on one of those CPT codes to show their distinct services. And don't forget, if you did not see the HCFA 1500 form video that was posted maybe a week or so ago, that would be good because you'll know exactly what space to put it in. But usually we put modifiers right beside the CPT code, that 5-digit code, 92507, 97110, whatever code that is, you put that modifier right beside it, okay? Now, one common mistake that I see with modifiers is sometimes people start putting them in willy-nilly. So I always say if you can bill without the modifier, do it, because don't just put a modifier there. But if you get it back, the claim kicked back to you saying you need a modifier, try one of these, all right? And so I believe that these are some tips that you can use to make modifiers a little bit more understandable. Remember, they just give the insurance company information and tell them the who, the what, the where, and the why. And so when you're working with modifiers, only use them when you need them. And remember, the proper use of modifiers, it really does ensure that your claims are paid, but also protects you in case you get audited. And auditing doesn't have to be a horrible thing, but we want to be prepared and we want to know why we're billing the things that we're billing. I always say if we know the why in almost everything we do, but especially in private practice, it makes learning things easier, but it also makes understanding why you're doing things. And if I can tell someone else why we're doing it, chances are I'm on the right track. So if you found this video helpful, be sure to share. I would love it if you could subscribe. I love my field. I love the field of therapy. And I honestly feel like there's not a lot of content out there specifically for us. So it's so helpful when you share it, when you like it, when you subscribe. It makes me feel great. And it also helps get really good content and out there and just keep the integrity of our field going. So until next time, do your best. Continue doing your great work that you're doing in private practice. It's okay to say, I want to make a difference at $1, but I want to get reimbursed for the services I'm providing, especially when it comes to insurances. So don't hesitate to let us know what I can do next, what video I can film next, what questions I can answer next, because at the end of the day, it's us against the world, right? Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful, amazing day or night whenever you're consuming this content. Until next time, bye.